top right side, we have a Terran just recently returning from Storm Gaming right now. It's the one and only Towel Terran, Gumiho. In the bottom right, his opponent. It's a red Protoss player fighting for Alpha X, the young and promising Zoun. Somewhat still considered as the new face, of course. He's not that young, though, to be fair. I mean, he was involved in StarCraft 2 before. A while ago. That was still in the, whatchamacallit times. Like very early on in StarCraft 2, when it was still split up into two scenes, right? But, yeah, when the split, well, stopped happening, stopped being a thing. He went to become a League of Legends professional player. And then later on down the road, he decided to make a return to StarCraft 2. Here he is again, looking quite promising to add as well. I mean, clearly he was a man of already quite a bit of talent, as he did manage to, you know, get a bit of a spotlight going in the professional scene earlier on as well. At least he got to play, right? But yeah, just overall training, practice, and scheduling, and how do you call this? Just being able to get a good practice rhythm going and stuff like that, right? It's within every single esports. If you just get a bit of coaching from one of those teams, right, with how you should do your training and everything like that, could have a lot of benefits as well, just in other esports, but clearly, playing League not the greatest thing for your StarCraft 2 career, as showcased by an almighty Terran Korean player that we all know and love. Although, to be fair, he went off to military service now, so it's not like that meant the end overall. Little probe scout here from Zoun does get shot down. The Marine managing to wiggle his way in between him and the retreat path. Both probably preparing for the GSL qualifiers. Yeah, but it's probably not. I don't think they exactly know who they're going to be up against, right? It's not like they have a big series against the Protoss or a Terran coming up that they need to prepare strategies for and high tactics for the time being. Gets an SCV, gets a Marine. Devs get a scout off as well, sees that there's at least a single Hellion, right? Could make you believe that there is a potential for a Hellion drop. And since Zoun is going for the Phoenix play here, should be good. Yeah, they don't know yet, yeah. Alright, so my assumptions were correct. You know, you gotta be careful with assumptions. Sometimes when your assumptions turn out to be, you know, the correct assumption, you start to get cocky. You start to just make other assumptions, being like, oh, well, this works out last time, pretty sure it will again. That's how the saying goes, after all. If you make assumptions, you make an ass out of yourself. 3 Phoenix with a 4th on the way should be more than enough to deal with the 3 Hellions coming up. We don't have a shield battery just quite yet, so, I mean, even if it is just 1 Hellion on the ground, it could still line up a good couple of shots. Let's see. Okay, goes for the lift on 1. May want to consider... There we go. Okay, lifts up the other 2 straight afterwards. That's it. It's the end of the Hellions, and not a single extra probe died, so wonderful defense there by Zoun. Immediately shuts it down as quickly as he can. Now on the prowl for that medevac as well. Wants to try and catch that on its return journey. Will not be able to get it, unfortunately. But, you know what? Nice effort, nonetheless. Wait to show initiative. And sometimes he does get it, right? Like, sometimes he does manage to actually get those, catch those medevacs. Sometimes you see Terran bringing them into corner over here and then back to this side, trying to avoid the Phoenix line of sight. Makes it a little bit longer to go there, but Makes it more difficult for the Phoenix to find the medevac as well. And, you know, surprisingly, Zoun really puts in the effort to try and catch those types of medevacs as well. Guess there's not that much going on right now, right? So, yeah, cool to see somebody try and put in the extra mile. Catches the Banshee as well right here. It's very unfortunate for Gumiho so far. Pretty much everything he has tried fell apart immediately. Cyclone just... Did that manage to do a single hit point damage? Actually, no, just all shield damage. There we go. Now does manage to get a bit of a hull hit, but still not the greatest. Little Reaper boy coming in here. Does manage to get an alright scout. Won't be able to do anything else, of course. And the army of Gumiho now retreated back to his own side of the map. Going for a third base, as Zoun, he did have a pretty formidable force here with a shield battery powering it back up as well. I mean, those Phoenixes in particular kind of... Oh my, that would be terrifying if that were to go down, that medevac here. I think that's 2 siege tanks. Yeah, that is 2 siege tanks. Oh my, you gotta be really on top of this one, Gumiho. Cannot afford to let those go down. Looks like he will be able to navigate his way to an all... Oh my, he's just keeping them in there. Okay, there we are. Now drops them out. They've been a little bit too late as the Phoenix and the entire Protoss army on top of it already. Gets a little bit demolished right there. Nothing else to say about that. Gumiho, I mean, even if those siege tanks were already sieged as soon as they could have been, I think Zoun still kind of crushes there, right? I feel like he could try to perhaps get the Phoenix to lift up the siege tanks a little bit quicker, but overall that just did not seem like a timing where Gumiho was going to be able to get any work done. Zoun was just too solid with the defense, and now this third base under heavy siege as well. The SCV is desperate to try and come in and get some sort of a repair going, but I mean, what is any... yeah, that is just CG. That is just CG. Wait a moment. What's this? We still had a little logo there. My bad. First probe arriving. Not really seeing anything. As, well, I guess that is a good thing as well, right? Not picking up on anything strange. Not seeing that there's a particular way that it's going just quite yet. I guess you can see that there's the expansion trying to be built here. So Zoun trying to avoid the command center there for as long as possible. Has to get out of there though, as the Reaper will be coming in soon. Is it a map with random spawns? Yeah, every map has random spawns. You only have the bottom left and the bottom right side though. So, I mean, it's random whether you'll be on the bottom left or the bottom right side, which doesn't influence too much. Except for, I guess, the Terran. It's a little bit nicer to be on the right side in case of, like, Blinkstalker aggression. Because your add-ons are going to be on the right side, so they'll be a little bit more protected and less fragile and easy pickings for a big Stalker Blink. But, I mean, we're talking about mere seconds here, right? Which in a game of StarCraft 2 on this caliber could be, you know, the difference between life and death, to be fair, but still. Oh, immediate switch up factory on top of the tech lab right here. Interesting. Cyclone? Yeah, it will be the Cyclone. Pretty cool. Yeah, Cyclone opening, I think is an alright opening against the Phoenix that we did see the previous time from Zoun, and we're going to be seeing here again. Gumiho kind of making the assumption that that will be another round of that type of style that he's going up against. From the 4 where they need to scout? No. There's no bases in the top right where you can scout. It's so good, man. It's so good. We're a little friendly channel here. Helping out people with questions in the chat as well. If you're watching this on the YouTube and you're wondering, where did this happen? It happens on Trovo. It's a little streaming platform that helps us out with the prize money in order to get these types of competitions going here. And if you like these types of competitions, you would like to see them live, definitely hit us up on the Trovo. It is trovo.live/alphaxsc2. So trovo.live/alphaxsc2. Right now, nobody really has any business hearing this, of course, as we're already watching it live, but later down the road, once this is a VOD, that might be useful for some people. Third base for Gumiho, coming up rather nice and early, a lot quicker than that of Zoun. Zoun is once again playing very carefully, playing very safe with these Phoenixes. No aggression this time around from Gumiho, though. Trying to make a dent in the impenetrable Phoenix squadron in the sky. Which I think, you know what, is a really cool choice here. Seeing him already switching up his strategies is very nice to see. I mean, Gumiho is a player that has had a ton of experience, so he should be pretty familiar anyway, right? With like, alright, well, my opponent is doing this type of strategy. If I make a little couple of, you know, switch ups here and there, I might be able to get a much better shot at winning this thing, right? Get your third quicker. Phoenix, they aren't that great at being aggressive. Surely you can try to get the SCVs, but I mean, there's not much else. And as long as you have a pretty reasonable anti-air squadron, right? The Marines and the Cyclone here, for example, you got to be able to keep them at bay and get away with being a little bit more aggressively expanding, right? More greedy is the right terminology, I suppose, rather than being aggressive. Very aggressive with trying to build SCVs here. But yeah. Alright, so Zoun is trying to poke in here a little bit. I guess this once again comes down to him playing extremely safely. Very timid in a sense. Doesn't want to risk losing these Phoenix unnecessarily. And I guess as long as Gumiho is on 2 bases, it is relatively easy for him to defend against these types of Phoenix attacks. As soon as the third base flies over and comes across, it's going to be a lot more difficult. So, you know what, Zoun being careful with the way how he uses these Phoenix is quite nice to see. Picks up the value where he can and waits for a potentially better opportunity. Although with that opportunity comes more missile turrets as well, of course. Gumiho doing an alright job so far with shutting down easy run-bys for those Phoenix, at least, right? Put up 3 missile turrets in total. A 4th one coming up on the 3rd as well. Yes, Zoun, you know what? Still a little bit behind on that economy here. Quite a bit, actually. 56 workers for Gumiho. 45 only available for Zoun, and now you can see there's a clear difference in size of army for Gumiho. That is a lot of a scarier push right now. Anti-armor missile is going to stick around on those Phoenix for a little bit longer, but it looks like Zoun wants to push in here regardless, trying to get the Colossi on top of the Marines and the Phoenix. They do a really good job denying those siege tank from doing actual damage. And once again, Zoun with his just careful play, meticulously building up that army, getting himself up to Colossi, safeguarding the Phoenix, manages to squish another attempt at aggression from Gumiho. Game number 3. Getting himself in a bit of a tough situation right now. 2 games down means 1 more loss and he is out of here. Can he avoid the clean sweep? Clean sweeping in the Psystorm Gaming's Terran player in the blue. Give it up for Gumiho. Let's get this. There. I go impatient sometimes with the logo rotating around, and I try to rotate the camera trying to catch up with the logo, and then I'm like, well, that just didn't look good. I'll have to be patient. We'll get better with it overall, guys, I promise. Anyway, bottom left side, I'm sure a couple of guys are just like, what the hell is he talking about even? And nobody even notices it, but anyway. Bottom left side, there's a red Protoss player fighting for Alpha X. Give your hands a bit of a pounding when you slap them together. Here is Zoun. It's a weird way to ask for applause, but hey. There we go. Only the best. Only the best for our players. Little probe on an adventure here. Trying to find his way through the SCV line and into the way of these two SCVs down here. Oh, Gumiho not trying to toy around the probe too much this time. Just plops down that CC whenever he can. Alright. It does make you wonder about those other two games, right? If you do this, is this just better? Just get the command center quicker instead of, like, building up to 200 minerals something extra surplus? Very well might be. Let's see. Another barracks here for Gumiho. Oh no, never mind. It's a factory. Shift click making it a little bit... for some reason I forgot how to select buildings. It's a good thing I'm not playing right now. Twilight Council for Zoun. So no longer will he be going on with the Stargate. A bit of a switch up. Yeah, no scouts here for Gumiho either, really revealing this. Doesn't look very out of the ordinary. Let's see if there's... okay, no, whatchamacallit, Cyclone this time around, going for the Widow Mines. I think the Widow Mine translate better to the later part of the game, or like the mid-game section, when you're playing against the Protoss. Rather than the Cyclone. The Cyclone, very good at anti-air defense, but... you know, is it really useful in a straight up fight? It kind of wants to kite away, and if you only have one of them, right, is that really useful? It's a reason why I don't see that much battle mech against Protoss, I suppose. Right. A little bit of a downtime here, so we're waiting for the medevac to arrive, ferry those little Widow Mines across. Might be a good opportunity for us to just kind of acknowledge that there is a Matcherino page for these guys. If you know, have already helped us out with that, you are the absolute best person alive right now at this moment in time. No question, no debate, just clear, straight up, best person alive. If there's multiple of you, well, it's a shared title, apparently. Third base for Zoun this time will be quicker of that of Gumiho. So another bit of a switch up and going up against the Blink rather than the Phoenix. I wonder if he's still gonna have this solid defense against, first and foremost, the Widow Mines, but then later down the line as well against the offensive, right? I suppose with the Widow Mines, there's going to be less... well, there's still going to be siege tanks involved. Bit rougher to have Stalkers just blink on top of the siege tank and take him out that way, rather than, you know, just have a couple of Phoenix in the sky. Pick him up, boom, and they're out of the fight instantly. More solid defense here for Zoun. Widow Mine attack just, I mean, it's like it just never existed. It actually is like it never existed. That medevac comes back, hurt, bloodied, messed up. Two eyes entirely swollen and blue, and he sees some stuff. Man, this guy's good. We just cannot catch a break. That is, I mean, I feel like he's lost one single probe every single game, and not a single probe more. You want a nice best person awarded? Can I get that certified? I mean, I'm sure as the nicest person in the world, you don't feel the need to have it be certified. So, at least that's what we're banking on. Third base for Gumiho. He seems to be in a little bit of a struggle right now. Starker's at the front door. May have overstepped his stay there for a little bit, especially if he doesn't keep walking. That's Tim. We'll still be able to catch a couple of those Starkers here. Unless, okay, only one of them. A little bit of hull damage here and there, but moving back. Colossi already at the defense back at home. He's utilizing these Blink Stalkers incredibly well, slowing down this push immensely. That means he's most likely going to have himself a second Colossi popping out as this fight either is just about to start or has just started. Okay. The reinforcing Marines here. A little bit more tough to actually have those siege tanks forced to be sieged up. Second Colossi. There it comes. And Gumiho, is he? Okay, he's just going to walk backwards. Sees what he's up against. Doesn't like his odds and just heads on out of there. Interesting. Standard thermal lance wasn't quite ready yet, so maybe there would have been an opportunity for him there with, well, how many siege tanks did he have? Only 2. Maybe, right? With some good splits. But there's no Marauders here, and that's really the unit you want to try and be able to jump yourself onto those Colossi. He is making an answer to them right now in the Vikings and a couple of Marauders as well. But not quite there yet. And doesn't want to throw away any Marines in an inefficient fight, it seems. It makes sense. I mean, he's just lost 2 games that way, right? So let's try not to do it 3 times. Run-bys from Zoun. Being set up, but found out and pushed away a little bit further down the map again. Has to reset up those boys in a moment. Little Adept looking for a potential another base. Nothing there just quite yet. But what is there is 99 army supply running down the map. Up to 100 now. There's only, what, 80 army supply available here for Zoun. There are 3 shield batteries, but they're spread out over the 2 separate bases here. Oh, Zoun just not getting a good idea of where the army of Gumiho is going. Here it is, though, sieged up. Also having some nice shooting going on against those siege tanks. Manages to get one of them picked off. The Vikings here, though, going to make this very troubling. Shield battery overcharge, still protecting those Colossi, but that's going to run out soon. You would imagine those Vikings are going to be poking their heads in once again. The bio won't be withheld by the Colossi if they're too far backwards. But maybe the siege tanks here, a little bit too far backwards on their own. Although Zealots rush in from behind. That is a good strategy here. So far, this has definitely been the most difficult fight for Zoun. Oh, the Colossi being targeted down, and that is gonna potentially... No, he manages to keep one alive. Disruptor, that could be massive. Yes, it is. That's a lot of bodies. Just when you think Gumiho was starting to get the fight going in his favor, a massive Disruptor shot manages to land. And things might be looking somewhat okay again for Zoun. Or at least manageable. Another Zealot run-by being set up. Disruptors won't be able to get poked away by those Vikings. It's definitely a boon here for Zoun. We're starting to get rid of the bio infantry on the ground as well as the siege tanks. Pretty good, pretty good. I don't think he's going to be able to push across now and just straight up kill Gumiho, though. That was something of an equal fight, so hopefully that won't happen. But then again, that's a lot of Zealots now getting warped in straight off the bat. Gonna provide quite a bit of a threat towards the natural base as well as the main army here. Main ball of bio disruptors on their way. They'll manage to get the greatest connections. One of them gets picked off before the ball explodes. The Colossi needs to get involved here. 3 siege tanks on the high ground just shooting away as Zoun struggling a little bit to finish off the bio units and get himself in an area where he can actually start dealing damage to these SCVs. There we go, reasonable disruptive fire. Single Viking really helping out there, just making that one Colossus leave the area. Another warp in here from Zoun. Army supplies looking a little bit rough now for Gumiho, but he is playing it defensively. As long as those siege tanks are sieged up, and, well, they just barely were. Let's see if this is going to be okay. Those disruptor shots are going to one-shot the siege tanks now with two-shot with the one-shot with the two shots. But yeah, that's the end there, unfortunately, for Gumiho. Man,